So I did 4 A-levels. Now I did reasonably well at my GCSEs and I decided to take 4 A-levels on subjects that I was really passionate and good at doing. I took classical civilization, I took drama, I took English and I took art. You can see a theme there. I was a very creative person. I still am a very creative person, and I loved the arts. I loved writing essays. I loved expressing myself with the written word. Even though I'm dyslexic, I really enjoy writing. In fact, I wrote my first novel when I was a teenager, and I'm hoping to write another one. I just need to find time to complete it. Now, my 4 A-levels were tricky. There was a lot of coursework, less pressure in the exams, but I did have to spend a lot of time doing coursework, art, theatre, etc. And most of my peers dropped one of them to just complete 3 full A-levels. However, I decided to keep all 4. So my final years of school were very intense. I remember rushing around the school, and you weren't allowed to walk in the grass. However, I would leg it to get from A to B because I never wanted to be late for my next teacher or class, as I, from a young age, found that really disrespectful. So I would run across the school grounds trying to get there. So the head of the school and prefects of the school were allowed to walk on the grass. It was a nod to their importance and their position within the school. Now, I was never prefect or head girl. I think probably because I would have perhaps told the teachers a little bit more than they wanted to hear. I wasn't gobby, but if I believed something could be changed or shifted or something could be done differently, I would speak my mind. So I think they probably didn't want to put me in a position of power, but that's just how I looked at it. I finished classics one day and the teacher asked to speak to me, so I stayed and spent 5 minutes speaking to them. And as I left the classics department, I knew that I had to get to art, and that was the other side of the school. I knew I was going to be late. So I took it on for myself to sprint, but I sprinted in the most direct way. So I legged it across school, running, and then I cut the corner of the field, crossing over the grass, and walking up the driveway was a physics teacher. I won't name his name. And he stopped and he shouted at me, "Lucy, what do you think you're doing on the grass?" Now, I was slightly late for my next lesson already. But I felt very at odds that I was being told off for being on the grass because I was trying not to be late. So I went up to said physics teacher and I said, "Sir, I was kept late by my last teacher, and I strongly believe that being late for a lesson is very disrespectful. So I was doing everything within my power to get there on time. That meant that I needed to run, which I have been doing, and that meant I needed to cross the grass." He was rather taken aback. I don't think he'd ever had anyone explain quite like the way I did to him why I was on the grass. Not because I was taking the piss, just because I didn't want to be late for the next teacher. So he apologised. He said, "I'm terribly sorry, Lucy. I agree and respect the fact that you are trying not to be late, and I commend you for it. Please, carry on." I said, "Thank you very much, sir." And then I legged it all the way into the art department. I was still a little bit late, but I explained the situation to the teacher, apologised, and all's well. So I ended up getting 3 A's and a B for my A-levels. And yeah, that's the story about my A-levels. What A-levels or final exams at school are you doing? I'd love to know. Which ones do you love? Which ones do you find particularly tricky? Let me know in the comments below.